CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
We're following breaking news at 6 a.m. out of the downtown area. Fire crews are battling a third alarm fire on Market Street near 14th.
And that's where CBS 8's Anna Laurel joining us live from this scene with the latest on what's happening with this fire. So many people impacted, Anna.
Yeah, you know what, you guys, it is pouring the rain out here, and I feel sorry for everybody standing out here. I mean, listen, dozens of people have been evacuated from these residential buildings around where this fire was, and now they're all standing out here in the rain. The city has opened up a temporary shelter for them, but we now know that one burn victim was transported to the hospital. Let's look at this video that was shot earlier from when the fire was just so intense. Okay, this started around 4:30 this morning. Again, this is off Market and 15th Street, and dozens of people have been evacuated. It started in a pedicab business. In the video you should see, you can even hear explosions. That's batteries of those bicycles for the pedicabs. I think I can hear that in my ear. The Parker Senior Residence, Potiker, was evacuated. I spoke with someone who lives there. He says the stairwell really smelled of smoke, and he felt like it was starting to fill up with smoke as he tried to make his way out. And you can imagine the seniors that live in that building, many of them were not able to walk very well, but he said that it was very organized. They got everybody out safely, but we do know that one burn victim was taken to the hospital. Now, people in this area, we've been talking to people out here on the sidewalk. They said the building that caught fire was called the Red Barn. That's not the name of the business. That's not the name of the business that we found anyway. We do know it was a pedicab business. That's what burned, and we believe that lithium batteries were inside. That's those noises that you might be able to hear in the video. Okay, so back out here live. Again, it just came a pour down of rain, and all these people out here, the fire crews still out here. They're used to these horrible conditions, really. And right now they're just mopping things up, cleaning it up. You can still smell the smoke. When I pulled up around 5:15, smoke was still billowing into the air, and they got it out in probably about 15 minutes. I was just checking my clock, so less than an hour, and it seems to be totally out. They're going floor to floor, they said, of that senior residence to make sure that there's no damage inside. They know it is burned on the outside and on the roof. So we're going to start walking around and try to get maybe some interviews with people if they're still standing outside and not just gone to that shelter by now. So live out here in the East Village, this is Anna Laurel for CBS 8. Guys?
Some big updates there from Anna.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, hope everyone's okay. And of course, there's that shelter available now that it's raining on them.
And our thoughts going with that burn victim taken to the hospital, too. Our other top stories here this morning, the midterm elections and the rain as well.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at all of those election results. Don't worry, we'll have that in a moment. But first, we do want to check in with Evan. As Anna just showed us, downpours downtown.
Yeah, still some rain to get through. So we are not done yet with all the wet weather. Still more in the forecast. Between now and, say, noon, we could still get another about 1/10 of an inch is what we're forecasting. A few hundredths is what is a pretty much best bet. You can look at your 2-day precipitation totals and get kind of an idea of what we've been working with over the last 48 hours. As of Tuesday evening, a full inch came down along the coastline for Oceanside and Sanitas, nearly an inch, 0.8 at least for San Diego, just over 5 inches, nearly 6 for Palomar Mountain, Lake Cuyamaca, 3.3 inches. So things are pretty decent. You can see what satellite radar imagery looks like right now. You can see where Anna Laurel is as to where she got that downpour of rain. That's right around the downtown area. So that is where one cell has just made its way through, just right around that downtown area toward the bottom of your screen. So for the day, expect those showers to remain through the morning hours and then taper off by the afternoon. A cooler day overall with those winds dying down too. Now to Eric, back to you.
Evan, thank you very much. And now we want to get you caught up on all of the midterm election results. So let's start with the race for California's 49th Congressional District.
Yeah, that's between Democratic Congressman Mike Levin and Republican Brian Marriott. Right now, Levin has a slim lead. CBS 8's Chris Groh live in Oceanside with more on things. Stan, you've been watching the latest numbers that have been coming in. Where are we at?
Yeah, and it does appear we are still here at the same place that we started this morning. Mike Levin with a 2% lead right now. Looks like he is on top of his opponent right now, Brian Marriott, the former mayor of San Juan Capistrano, there by about 2 percentage points. It's about a little bit more than 3,000 votes. Now, when you do take a deep dive into the numbers, according to the Secretary of State's website, 100% of the precincts have reported some votes. Now, that doesn't take into account all the votes. So I want to show you just how close this is, but also how close this could flip. According to the New York Times and their vote tracker, 54% of the votes from all the precincts are in right now. Now, they're estimating that the race is leaning towards Levin, but when you look down at the breakdown, remember, this is between San Diego and Orange County. San Diego County does have 52%, according to their estimate, of the votes counted, whereas Orange County already approaching that 60% number. Now, Orange County likely going to favor Brian Marriott compared to San Diego County, but again, this is still very early. Now, both candidates we spoke to at their respective watch parties yesterday, they proclaimed a bit of confidence for both of them, and they both expected that this would go on into today, potentially even longer. Take a listen to what both of them had to say just a couple of hours ago.
Of whether it's Republicans or Democrats in charge of the House, I'm going to work across the aisle however I can. We've gotten 20 bipartisan bills done in the last 3.5 years, everything from veterans to the environment.
We think it's going to be a long night. We think it's probably going to be a long few days. It's going to be a very tight race. That's what we see. Nothing's changed there. It's frustrating not to have some game day results in, but that's the process. It's thorough, and we'll wait for that.
And of course, we know that President Biden had his eye on this race, specifically even his presence. We know, of course, last week President Biden came to Oceanside to throw his support, to campaign, to stump for Representative Mike Levin, the Democratic incumbent. They, of course, the White House as well as Democratic strategists saw how close this race could be with Brian Marriott, the Republican challenger. Look, these are two candidates that have had close races against each other in the past before. So again, anything can happen now as we continue to count votes. A little bit more than half of the actual votes have been counted, even though when you take a look at that website, it might be confusing for some. You'll see 100% of precincts reporting, but that doesn't mean that every vote has been counted. It just means all precincts have reported at least one vote, which again isn't much to get that 100% number, but still that's where we are right now. Eric and Netta.
All right, yes, still early. Thank you very much, Chris. And now on to the balance of power in Congress. It appears they predicted red wave did not quite materialize.
One pundit said it was a red ripple instead. Historically,
splash.
exactly. Historically, the party in power loses congressional seats in a midterm election. CBS News does project that the battle for the House is leaning Republican. The Senate is still a toss-up, with several incumbents pulling off projected victories. In Pennsylvania, Democrat John Fetterman is projected to beat GOP candidate Mehmet Dr. Oz, flipping the red Senate seat blue. We'll have a lot more on national results, especially on that key Georgia race coming up here at 6:30.
Okay, now let's talk about the race for Chula Vista's mayor, Amar Campa-Najjar and John McCain, each hoping to lead the city for the next 8 years. And you see who's taking this early lead right now. So McCain right there with 55% of the vote against the 45%. So the winner will replace Mary Casillas Salas. She is being termed out now.
At the county level, right now, it looks like incumbent county supervisors Nathan Fletcher and Jim Desmond will both be reelected. They both have strong leads in the race for their respective districts. And now to the race for San Diego County Sheriff. Here's the latest numbers. Looks like Under Sheriff Kelly Martinez is in the lead by 14 percentage points against former city prosecutor John Hemmerling. And the race for California governor officially been called. The AP declaring Governor Gavin Newsom victorious in his re-election bid against Republican challenger Brian Daly by 16 points.
The people of California took in unambiguous terms to assert our values and to go on the offense and to state overwhelmingly that we are a freedom state, that we support the rights of women and girls.
Earlier yesterday, the governor told us that if re-elected, he will be hyper-focused on addressing homelessness, housing, and crime.
And now this morning, workers at the county registrar of voters, they are still very busy counting ballots. This went late into the night and now early this morning. Officials there say it could still take a couple of weeks for the mail ballots to be processed if they were postmarked by Election Day and received by the registrar's office by November 15th. Then they'll be considered timely cast. Results will be certified by December 8th. We do have more election results throughout our newscast here today. We're also going to have all the latest numbers on that election ticker. That's what you see at the bottom of your screen, as well as on CBS8.com and the CBS 8 app.
We're tracking the election numbers. Evan, you're tracking the rain total numbers. How is it looking out there right now?
Well, over an inch is what we saw in total in San Diego County. We expect a little bit more through the remainder of your day. Right now, we're only looking at, though, a few hundredths of an inch, say between now and the end of your day. So really the bulk of it coming down between now and noon. Afternoon, we should get those clouds parting just a bit and even a bit of sunshine in the mix. Forecast for the day shows upper 50s for your inland valleys. So on the cooler end, cooler temperatures today, a few remaining showers, a little bit of a breeze, especially for your mountaintops. That wind advisory will be allowed to expire as of 10 a.m. today. Across the coast and inland, it has already expired. Walking out the door, we're in the 40s for Alpine and for Ramona. Palomar Mountain is sub-freezing at 31 degrees. That's why there are some spots on the map where sure, we could pick up on maybe a rain-snow mixture, but in general, what we're focused on here is that these temperatures are cooler than where we were 24 hours ago, and in some cases by close to a 10 degree difference. So for Ramona, Alpine, El Cajon, Oceanside, we're 9 degrees cooler right now than where we were 24 hours ago. 7 degrees cooler for Carlsbad, Escondido, and Encinitas. Let's take a look at traffic as we head out the door right now. Not quite as many crashes or collisions on the road compared to what we saw, say, at this time yesterday with those roads very wet. But important to keep in mind that it is still incredibly wet on the roads as we head through the day. So I do want to take you through the South Bay right now. Around Chula Vista, looks like we've got a crash on the 805. This is the 805 just around the northbound lanes at exit 10. That's Plaza Boulevard. Number 1 lane is blocked and the HOV lane is blocked with a crash there. And again, that's the 805 northbound. It looks like there is a signaler issued. That means that this could take rather long for it to be cleared up, and you see the delays leading up to it on the 805. A good idea to plan for an alternate route. Switch over to the 5. You can get northbound, but there is still some delays on the 5 as well. So a lot of wet roads out there. Still the chance for some hydroplaning, some fishtailing as you start off the morning. Important to focus on the road as you head outside this morning.